Thank you all for coming in. Enjoy the breakfast as you're coming in, and please also, we're gonna be starting in about 2 to 3 minutes. Vamos a empezar como en 2 o 3 minutos. Gracias. Si necesitan traducción, por favor, aquí con nuestro samaniego, y tenemos las iPads, los audífonos, y también la presentación en los iPads está en español, gracias a nuestro samaniego. En español, en los iPads, la presentación está en español también, si necesitan traducción. If you need translation, we have iPads with the presentation in Spanish also. Thank you. A veces tengo que llegar a la Pero ahorita ya está. No, never. Gracias, amigo. Vamos a empezar. Si tienen los audífonos y los iPads, por favor, vamos a empezar. Si se pueden poner a los audífonos para que puedan escuchar en español a nuestro samaniego. Gracias. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our April Coffee and Community. We are very, very excited again to host you here. Again, we do have breakfast, so I see that the majority of you are eating. Also, we have the San Isidro Family Health Centers. Okay, we have of San Diego. We have Family Health Centers of San Diego here. They have information in the back. It's very, very useful. They're gonna be joining us during our Coffee with Communities or other events to continue to provide information. Take their flyers. You may not need them today, but you may need them tomorrow, you may need them over the weekend, and you'll have, somewhere, someone to contact if you need help. That's why you're here, and they're gonna continue with us, so just take their information, even if you think you don't need it today, you may need it tomorrow, you may need it next week or over the summer. They provide services that are free, and if there's anything that potentially you need to pay for, I'm sure that they can provide, some support for that as well. Please also understand that they do not ask for any documentation that, you may fear, okay? So please, they are a trusted group in the community. Please feel free, to access them and ask any questions, and that's what they're here for.
And the mobile clinic is here internally at the parking lot.
See, and we also have our mobile clinic, as you all have seen, every Thursday here in our parking lot, by our staff parking lot every Thursday, and again, that's also free of charge for anyone in the community. Thank you so much. So thank you. So Coffee Community, so I just wanna, again, welcome you all. This is an opportunity for us as a school to connect with you, the community, on very important, topics that occur here at school. And today we have two important topics that we want to talk about. Just advance here to the agenda. So we have CAASPP test preparation. CAASPP is the California Assessment for Student Progress and Performance. It's taken every year by our 3rd through 8th grade students in language arts and math, and also by our 5th grade students and 8th grade students in science. I have heard from many of you that have studied in Mexico, and you shared how, in Mexico, when you're studying for a big test, they give you let's say prompts ahead of time, or test practice materials, because that's what they do in Mexico, and it's appropriate for them to do that. Unfortunately, here for this test in California, we can prepare our students according to what we believe is going to be on the test, but we don't know exactly what's going to be on the test, so we can't really give them test prep material ahead of time. But we can expose them to the type of test that they're going to have to be successful. Very, very important. Also, I just want to share, this is one test. This is one test that your children take, but this is the one test that the state of California uses to assess schools' success. So we do need to do our very best and have our students do their very best on this test. So you're gonna get some information today on what the experience is gonna be for your children. Then our second topic is gonna be on the role of our counseling department and how our counselors are here to support your children on a daily basis and what services they provide. So I'm gonna turn this mic over right now to our instructional coach, Ms. Shea, who supports our school here, and she is also the coordinator for our state testing. So I'm gonna give her the mic, and she's gonna share some valuable information with you all. Yeah, thank you. Great comment.
Good morning. I am Shea Macleod, and I'm one of our instructional coaches here at Feaster. Very honored to have that job and work with your students alongside of their teachers every day, because we know books don't teach students, teachers teach students. And so the quality of instruction is very important, and that's what the other instructional coaches and myself work to improve every day so that your students are learning and they are successful. As Mr. Villarreal was sharing, we are beginning CAASPP assessment. And so this assessment is very important, and it can bring about a lot of stress for teachers and students. And so the reason we're looping you into this is because there's a way that we can intervene and support our students with feeling confident about this test. And so This doesn't define who they are. It's important for us as a school, but we want to make sure that you're aware of why we're doing the test and what it's testing and how you can help them at home. So as Mr. Villarreal shared, CAASPP is just an acronym for a very long-winded title, but we have several tests that are within the CAASPP umbrella, the CAASPP system. So we will be testing in science, language arts, and in math for grades 3 through 8. So you might be thinking, well, what about a kinder, a first grader, a second grader? They also take tests that are dictated by the Chula Vista district. However, our third graders and up are taking that statewide higher stakes assessment. Again, these are the assessments that we are giving. We try to make sure that we keep it simple. English language arts is going to cover reading and writing. And that's for all students in grades 3 through 8. That test can take anywhere from 2 to 3 days. We provide 2 to 3 days to take the test, but the sessions for testing are anywhere from an hour to 2 hours, right? So we're really looking at our students to see, are they still focused? Are they becoming overwhelmed with the test? We don't just force them to sit in front of the computer and test. In addition to the English language arts, we will be giving the test in math, and that will also be a 2-day opportunity. Similar timeline, an hour to 2 hours each day. And finally, our students who are in 5th and 8th grade, and eventually when they're in high school, they are going to take the science portion of the test. That portion is a 3-day, or we provide 3 days for that assessment, and again, an hour to 2 hours each day. They will be taking the test on the computer. Every student has an iPad. They're familiar with how to use their iPads. Teachers are practicing this assessment with them so that they know what the question looks like. They know there's opportunities to take breaks from looking at the technology. We're definitely keeping all of that in mind. The test is given on the computer because the questions actually adapt. So if the student is answering the question incorrectly, then the next question might look a little different. That way we're able to see what is the correct level of performance that that student is at. What can you do to help your student? It's important that they're eating in the morning before this test. It's important that they're having a good night of rest. Half of the battle is just feeling confident, having the energy and the stamina to take this. So it's important that, like I said, they're having a good breakfast, that they're going to bed on time. You know, I have kids myself. I know it's hard when they say, I just want another half hour, just another half hour of my show. It's important that they get to bed at a good time so that they're well rested and they have that energy to do their best. And of course, we would love to have them at school on time. We start the test at 8:15. Our day starts at 8 o'clock. When students arrive in their classroom, their teachers have little treats out on their desk for them, little notes of encouragement. They have breathing exercises that they take the kids through to kind of get their minds in the right spot. So it's important that your child gets to participate in that. So bringing them to school on time so that they start with all of their friends gives them the best opportunity to be successful on that test. When a kiddo arrives late and everybody's already started, they get a little panicked. Oh, I'm behind, I need to hurry up. And they just start clicking through. And so we don't want to have that stress on our kiddos. We want them to be able to come in, have a nice, relaxed, calm morning with us, and then be able to do their best. Finally, we want to remember that we are their biggest cheerleaders as their parents and their teachers. We want to give them notes of encouragement and love and remind them that we are proud of them no matter what happens on that test. We are proud of them. And that's a big way that you can support your kiddos. Of course, there are practice opportunities that you are welcome to try out with your students, and I will be sending this around in a moment. You can log on to the CAASPP website, which provides you tips as a parent, how you can help your kiddo. It also shows you what the questions look like. please know we are practicing these in the classroom every single day. So it's not necessary for you to practice again, but just for your knowledge. Yes. Yes, I will get to the results page shortly. And it also has a section on here where you can look at sample reports. So these are some of the categories that you can get support on when you go to this website. How you can be a learning hero, how you can talk to your teacher about the results that you see, and then also checking out the test questions. But just to reiterate, we are practicing these questions in the classroom. It might be a little tired of practicing the questions at home too. So I encourage you to use this as a resource just to familiarize yourself with the test, but not necessarily drill your kiddos another time. When the test is done, we will receive scores. The scores are reported to the state, and at the school level, it does give us some feedback on how we can improve what we're doing at our school. But parents will receive a report that looks similar to this, where it tells you how your child performed. And these numbers here, level 1, 2, 3, or 4, not met, nearly met, met, or exceeded. Those are the terms that they use. Those are the indicators that they use to describe how your child is doing in those content areas. It gets really specific too, and it says within the reading section, this is how your child's doing. Within the writing section, this is how your child's doing. A lot of information, and again, this information is invaluable to teachers because our goal is to make sure that they are moving forward and that they are growing with their academic progress. Here is our schedule. Like I said, we start next week. So on Monday, we'll begin with the math section. And we'll do 2 days of math, 3 days of language arts. And that's for all kids 3rd through 8th grade. And then the second week, May 5th, it will just be our 5th and 8th graders testing in the science. This schedule is being sent out on School Messenger. It's being sent out by your teachers via Class Dojo, just so that we're all on the same page. And do not stop believing, do not stop believing. That is our theme this year for the test. And this was created by one of our 6th graders, Charmaine Marcos. So it's going to be on the shirts that our students are going to receive. They're going to have a testing shirt to motivate them and wear. And we're really proud of our 6th grader who was able to create that. Before we move on to questions, actually we can do questions. Any other questions? All right, like I talked about, one of the most important things that we can do to help our students is to remind them of how proud we are of them. We are so very proud of the progress that they have made. And one way that we showed how proud we were is by holding a CAASPP award ceremony. Last week, 2 weeks ago, not sure, the days are blending together. So your child may have earned a medal because they passed the test. And by passing, I mean they scored a 3 or higher. They scored a 3 or higher on the math or ELA section. When they score a 3 or higher, we award them because it is a difficult test and we know it takes a lot of stamina and we are so very proud. And so they were given a medal and we encourage them to wear that medal to school as a way of feeling confident, as a message to their peers around them that I did it, you can do it too, and as really a source of pride. So if your child has one of these from the last CAASPP award ceremony, please encourage them to wear it every day on campus, but especially during our testing time. Another way that we can motivate our kiddos is we can give them a letter. So if I could have my helpers pass these out. Thank you. There's a sample on the front, and this is just a little note of encouragement that you can write to your kiddo, even if they're a kindergartner, okay? The kindergartners can have notes as well when they take their local measures tests. But there is a blank sheet, and there is a sample here of what you might want to say to them. And there's an envelope where you can write your child's name and their teacher, and we'll deliver it to them. Your student gets to open this up right before they start testing. And if they see a inspiring message from someone that they love, that can really help to motivate them and remind them that we are proud of them no matter what. We are very proud of them. Also, in the back by Ms. Girasu, there is a big blue sign that says, "We believe in you." And it's a place for you to write a message to all of the students at Feaster. So I believe we're gonna take some time now to work on some of these projects and turn them in so that we can be ready.
Thank you, Shea, for that. I want to share something here. We don't just start preparing our students for this exam, last week or 3 weeks ago. We actually started day one back in July. But this is the time when we get to the test, we have to remind ourselves of how important it is, and we do have to remind our students also how important it is, and we want to remind you, the parents, of how important it is. Motivation. Motivation is probably, if not 80% of how successful someone's gonna be, it's probably 90%. Motivation. Our kids, your children, they are ready, they are smart, they are capable, and you know it, and we know it, and they know it. But it is a challenging time for them because they're still learning how to, how to struggle with an assessment. When we call that productive struggle, we all have to be challenged in order to continue to grow and learn. If we are not challenged, we're not learning and we're not growing. So this assessment, even the local measures assessments that our TK kindergartners and first grade take, they're not easy, but we want students to learn how to persevere, how to really understand what their skills are, and motivation is important. These letters that you can write for your children are super important. Leaving little notes in their lunch bags that they bring to school is super important because you are their world. They want to please you as their parents. We know that they want to please their teachers as well, because that is just human nature. But we need you to help us out with that. So if you can write these letters, we will be sending this to everyone in the community as well. Right now, we want to take 5 minutes to give you a little break. There are some markers in the back because we want you all to take an opportunity to write a message for your children, our students, in Spanish or in English in the back. If we can take 5 minutes, you can take a little break, stand up, chat with one another, and head to the back and write us a quick note. It's as simple as do your best, or you can write a couple of sentences if you'd like. Okay, so let's take 5 minutes for that. I'm gonna put the timer up. Thank you so much. 5 minutos, okay? Thank you, everyone. Please head to the back and write a note to our children. We're gonna be displaying that in the front of our school so everyone can see it. Thank you. 5 minutes. Use this time to write the letter if you'd like. And on your way out, also please make sure you write a note if you're not doing it at this time, but we want to give you this opportunity because we all get busy and we may forget.
Adelante, adelante.
En los resultados, o empieza empezamos pero hay personas, para eso hay personas que les leen y dan calificaciones, no sé, no, pues, de ser responden a preguntas y hasta no, no es más respondiendo a preguntas. Thank you, everyone, for first sharing your thoughts on the blue butcher paper that we have in the back. And also for taking the time to write letters for your children, even your young children, because again, they want to please us, and we want to continue that. Thank you again. And next year, so in August, September, we're gonna have our awards ceremony for our students. So we hope to see your children up on that stage, and we hope that you can join us for that celebration. It's a recognition that we do for them because, again, everyone needs recognition. So thank you again. Thank you, Ms. Shea Macleod, for sharing this information today. Thank you for being the most wonderful coordinator of our state assessment. So thank you again. Right now, I'm gonna turn the mic over to our wonderful counseling department. I want to share something with you all. Sometimes we don't realize what we have if we don't know what we haven't had in the past. And I'm gonna share from experience. This is my 5th school as an administrator. Not that I'm leaving anytime soon, I'm hoping to stay here for the remainder of my career. Okay, but this is my 5th school as an administrator, and the 4 schools that I've been at prior to this, I haven't had more than 1 counselor at a school. Sometimes I had half a counselor, and sometimes I had no counselor. I was the counselor. Very challenging. I want to share this because we have a team of counselors here. We right now actually have 4 because we have Mrs. Llamas who has been here as a substitute, and it's almost like she's been here the whole year, okay? So she's part of the team, but I want to share with you all the privilege that Feaster Charter School has. Not to say that because we have this team, that our problems are all gonna be solved. The challenges are still gonna be there, but just understand that when the challenges do occur, there's a team to support your children. There's a team to support you as a family as well. So I want you to understand that, okay? And I don't want us to take them for granted, okay? Because our commitment is to continue to ensure that we have this department. And we want to share with you all the work that they do versus the work that they don't do sometimes, because sometimes we want a lot more from them. They're experts in their field, but they're not experts in everything, okay? So thank you. I'm gonna turn it over to our lead counselor, Mrs. Leo.
Thank you, Mr. Villegas. Good morning. As Mr. Villegas said, I'm Miss Leon. We're so happy to be here and we're so happy you are all here. So this morning, we are all going to be talking about the role of the school counselor, not supporting success and overall well-being. So again, I'm Miss Leon. Let me find the clicker. Oh, thank you. All right, so here's a picture of us. That's me. I am the counselor for the 6th through 8th grade students. I'm going to let my team also introduce ourselves, but I will introduce Miss Bravo. She is out on maternity leave. She had her baby recently, yay! So we do have our maternity leave if your student is in 3rd through 5th grade. And I will pass the mic to my lovely team.
Hello, everyone. Good morning. My name is Nicole. My name is Nicole, and I am the TK through 2nd grade school counselor. Thank you so much for being here this morning. I see a lot of lovely familiar faces that I've talked to over the past couple of years, so I am so happy to be here and service your students. Yeah, Mark. I am currently the sub for Ms. Bravo. She's on maternity leave. I also was a sub for Ms. Leon at the beginning of this year. Because she also had a baby months ago. But yeah, it's been lovely being here the whole year, getting to know the students and the school culture. It's been a really great experience.
And thank you, Ms. Llamas. It's honestly been such a pleasure to have her and to have your students still have support while a lot of us are having and growing our families. So thank you for being patient with us as we have babies, as you do. All right, so we're also going to go over our mission statement.
The mission of Feaster Charter School's comprehensive school counseling program is to support the whole child by providing equitable access to data-driven and evidence-based social, emotional, academic, and career programming for long-lasting results through direct services, advocacy, and collaboration with key educational partners. School counselors start to create an environment of safety, respect, responsibility, and academic excellence to foster resilient learners.
Thank you, Ms. Llamas. That's a huge paragraph. So I'm just going to quickly explain, like, what does that all mean? So basically what we're telling you is that we care about your students' social emotional being, their career and their future, as well as their educational learning. So we care about all of the whole child. That's basically what that paragraph means. It just looks really long. All right, so as Mr. Villarreal said, we're going to explain the difference of our role and maybe some other roles that you hear about frequently that we provide on campus or outside of school. So first, we're gonna talk about the school counselor versus therapist. So we are school counselors. What that means is we went to school to support your student in the elementary, middle school, or high school setting. We support students through their academic, their college career, their social and emotional being and development. Counseling is short term. So that means it's not meant to be all year long and small group counseling or certain services that we provide. We're meant to only work with students for 6 to 8 weeks. So that's just how our program is set up, and that's how it's set up for all school counselors, no matter what school you're at. We do work with all students in various settings, so just kind of like check-in, saying hi to them. You'll see us pop into the classroom. They may work with us in a small group with your permission, and we'll explain a little bit more about that later. And we may refer students or your family to outside services like therapy for that more intensive help that we just unfortunately cannot provide because we're not trained, we're not certified. So we don't want to step out of our boundaries and do something for your student that you shouldn't be doing. We definitely will let you know. So when we say that we may refer to therapy, this is what therapists do. So therapists provide that intensive counseling, therapeutic services, either in the clinic, in the private practice, in hospitals, or other community agencies. And guess what? Feaster is so special because we have multiple therapists that come onto campus and do that therapy here in our office for you to eliminate that barrier. So you don't have to drive them after school or try to arrange someone to drive them to the clinic. You can get that help here. So please, if that's something you're interested in, contact one of us. We're very happy to help you with that. All right, pleasure. So therapy focuses primarily on that mental wellness. So the things that we think about in our brain, that are long-term emotional being. So therapy is that longer-term support, like I said, that we just can't provide. So therapy could be 12 weeks, could be a few months, could be a year, but that's not their goal. Their goal is to be longer term than us, but not too long-term, because that means maybe it's not working. But the therapist will go over that with you, but typically it's 12, maybe a little bit longer weeks long. So they work with you and your students depending on the type of treatment that they may need. So some of our community partners also can come into your home and help support anything that you say that's going on at home, or help the whole family unit. So maybe not just you, not the student here, whoever lives with you in the home as well. So that's what's really great about therapy. We can't do that. But that's okay. Like I said, they're specifically trained in those services, and we're specifically trained in what we do. And we love what we do. Because they do a lot more than just mental wellness, right? Mental wellness is very important. We touch base on it just a little bit, but they do the deeper dive. We're kind of that service level. So then we also have school psychologists here on campus. So sometimes people get that interchange just because, wow, a lot of school people. And I can see, we do work very similarly and we do work together a lot, but we do have very separate roles. So the school psychologists here on campus, they do assessments and testing through the IEP and IEP services. So they do attend and hopefully lead IEP meetings, anything that has to do with the IEP goal, which is individualized educational plan. So there are a lot of steps that have to be taken place in order for your students to be on an IEP. And so school psychologists can do counseling services, what they'll call it, but that has to be under the IEP and it has to be deemed through the team. That's not something that they'll just add. That has to be counted as a need, and they have to go through all the proper steps to make that happen. Okay, so it's different than ours because that's going to be written into the IEP. Ours, we don't have to service those students specifically. We can help, but we don't service those students specifically, nor is it written into an IEP. Because remember, we're short term. We do collaborate, and they also collaborate with the RSP team. And so that's RSP teachers, RSP staff that are in the room giving the students who have IEPs those extra learning supports. So they mostly focus on the educational component. Does that make sense? Like the difference between us and them? I just want to make sure. So I'm not a school psychologist, but I want to make sure like you can see the difference. Perfect. If you have any additional questions afterwards, please come see us. We'll be happy to explain more. All right, let me pass it. Okay, just kidding. Sorry, you guys, keeping you guys awake here. All right, so the rest of our services include small group counseling. So you may have heard me mention that in the previous slide. What that means is we work with students in a small group setting. So maybe 2 to 5 children, depending on the age grade. So like Miss Jacobo, she's TK through second. Her groups are typically a little bit smaller, just to help our smaller friends stay focused. Because when there's too many of us, they're distracted, right? Which is how young minds work, right? They're excited, they're ready to look at things. Hers are really fun and cute. She does a lot of games and like, oh my gosh, when I hear her, it's really exciting. I'm like, I want to be in her group. Miss Yamas, Miss Bravo, and ours are a little bit bigger, because we have the older kids, they can stay more focused, we still make it fun. But so all of our small groups are based on very important topics, like self-awareness, self-management, responsible decision-making. So those are just a few. Self-management. Those are all skills that our students need to be lifelong learners and to be successful outside of school when they're adults. So those are things that those skills that we help them practice for 8 weeks. So with us just for that 8 weeks, it's usually the beginning of the quarter. So we do see kids for 3 quarters total. We're doing small groups. You do have to give us consent. You don't pull your student for small groups without your consent. So when we call you and we're asking you for consent, it's not therapy. It's just that skill-based practice. And they love it. They always want to come back. They're like, it's different. We also have that individual counseling. So just us and the student, and that's just depending on what they need. But so that's the same thing. That's going to be that 8 weeks. We're working one-on-one with the student. This sometimes look more like services for students with anxiety. Maybe they have a loss. Maybe they're just really struggling in a group setting is not appropriate for them. So, but that's something we would communicate with you as the parent or guardian. Academic counseling, that is for our 7th and 8th grade students. I do that. So if you have a middle schooler, then that is something I provide. I provide these services to students who are not meeting our grade point average, or they have more than 1 F. So we really want to help catch them before they are behind on their credits. So I meet with them weekly, check in on their grades, talk to them about what assignments that they're missing, and really support them in making sure they stay on track to promote graduate from us, but as well as promote and graduate from high school. So it's really giving them that help. Because if they go to 7th grade and they're like, oh, whoa, this is a lot harder than I thought. And that's okay. They just have to learn and get help. They still love it too. So like I said, community partner referrals, that's us helping you get to therapy or maybe other support needs that you may have depending on the community partner. But usually it's Nova Vista or Housing Campus. Then we have student self-referrals. If your student is in 3rd to 8th grade, each classroom has a QR code. So it has a cute sign that says, I want to meet with the counselor. They take their iPad, they scan it, they put their information in, it comes to us, and then we check in with them. So every student has access to this in 3rd through 8th grade, and they can ask to come see us. And so it's usually like, I want to talk about a fight with my sister, I want to talk about my dog who died, I want to talk about an argument I got with my best friend. So it's really just those social things that they may not want to talk to you, not because they don't love you, they just don't know maybe how to talk to you. They want to talk to somebody else. And that's how we can support them, and that's every student. And so the younger kids, they ask their teacher. So 3rd K through 2nd, they ask their teacher to see the counselor, their teacher puts a different form into them, and then Ms. Jacobo pulls them. And so they're not ready to like input their information by iPad just yet. The only reason why they don't have access to that. We also provide crisis response. So if your student is having an emotional crisis in the classroom, we go to the classroom and support them and give them whatever supports they need. We also do social emotional learning screeners. This is called Satchel Pulse. Each kid is rated by their teacher. Some grades, the students take it themselves, 3rd through 8th, and that lets us know who needs that extra support during small group or individual counseling. We'll go a little bit more into that. And we have mental health screeners. That's for our 6th through 8th grade students. And that is done through a community partner. It's just assessing any potential anxiety or depression. Doesn't mean they have it. It's just looking to see how we can support if those students are struggling with those, so that we can help refer to other partners.
Thank you, Ms. Leon. That information was very informative. Hello, Ms. Jacobo here again. I just wanted to talk to you guys about the CAASPP for competency wheel. This is basically what we base our group counseling on. I know Ms. Leon just kind of went over some of them, but I just wanted to kind of go over them a little briefly with you. So here we have self-management. This is the competency where we address maybe impulse control or self-regulation strategies with your children. So that way when they're, feeling really angry or very sad, they know how to self-regulate and come down from being escalated. For self-awareness, here is where we can teach them self-esteem, where we can teach them about identifying emotions in themselves, and just being more aware of themselves in general. Relationship skills, that's pretty much friendship skills. We have a lot of students on campus that sometimes they have, little problems with friends, so they can benefit from relationship skills. Then we have social awareness. Here's where the social skills come into play. This is where, those skills benefit from social skills counseling. And then we have responsible decision-making, and this is where we teach our students kind of like how to identify problems and how to also think of solutions to fix those problems.
So this is currently, our data that we, got in February. So this is from Q1 all the way to February of this year. So 211 students got service in individual, small group counseling. 106 students are referred to counseling. These are the students that do the QR code and check in with the counselors. We did 15, we identified 15 students in need of a risk assessment. Students referred to therapy was 50, and we gave out 248 toys during Operation Brain Toy, which is the annual Christmas event we have. Yeah.
So these are the results of a social emotional screener that all of our students take here at Feaster. So this is just the trends or the patterns for this school year, from the beginning until the last screener was just a few weeks ago. So here you can see in the lime green section, these are the students that are only receiving in-class support. So that means that they don't go to any different small group, they don't receive therapy services. These are the students that are only receiving in-class support. This middle section right here that you see, it's a little orange. These are the students that are only receiving tier 2 support. So what that means is that they come to us or they go to like a small group learning, which is what we are. And then over here, this is the percentage of students that go to either small group learning with us in counseling, or they're referred to therapy services. So the great thing about this is that we can track if we're on track with our goals. So here you can see that our in-class support, our small group support, and small group with therapy services as well, all the trends is going up. Even if it's a slight growth, we celebrate it because that's what we want to see, is just growth in all of our students. That way we know how to best support, and if we're doing something right, to continue that for your students. And then how to contact us. As of right now, we have this poster posted in room 302. That's with Ms. Haro and Ms. Yasu. We also have counseling contact cards that you can take home with you. They're in the office with both Ms. Faro and with Ms. Montigo. And we're also going to be putting a poster right outside of the NPR, so that way it's easier for all the parents to just scan it there. And I believe we're going to be posting this on the school website as well, underneath the counseling tab. Any questions? ¿Algunas preguntas?
Who needs counseling now? After all that, right? I mean, we're thinking about our children, what their needs are, which one of those services may benefit from. Let's give them a great big round of applause. As executive director, my job is to ensure that services and supports are being provided. My job is not to know every single detail because that's impossible. So I also sometimes, when I'm reminded of all the work that is done here at Feaster, I'm amazed. I'm also amazed. I can't believe how much we actually provide. Not to say that we can't provide much more, but this is where we're at right now. It's amazing. So, I just want to share with you all that our goal is to start with safety of your children, and that safety starts with their emotional safety. Because the physical safety comes after the emotional safety. And we all, of course, we provide the physical safety as well, but if we don't provide the social emotional needs that your children have, they're not going to be successful. They're not robots. okay? And they will make mistakes. That is just part of growing up. Let's ensure that we accept that as part of, the maturing stage of our children. However, let's not accept that they continue to make the same mistakes over and over again. What I say to my students is, it's a mistake today, because maybe this is the first or second time that you made this poor choice. But if you're making that mistake for a third or fourth time, then it becomes a problem. Then it gets dealt with in a different manner, and that's called progressive discipline as well, okay? So I just want to let you know that lots of stages to support your children. All of this that they do is in service of what Ms. Macleod shared about the CAASPP testing. That takes a lot of social, emotional grit and perseverance. When we go and take tests as adults, we know that we need to prepare ahead of time. We know that we need to understand what they're looking for. Our students don't yet know that yet. They're learning all that. So that's where you come into play. And that's why the letters are important. On Monday morning, don't give these letters out to your children before Monday. Unless you want to share it with them, that's fine. But on Monday morning, send them with the letter, give them to your teacher to give them to, provide them to your students to come and give them to your teacher so that they can have them out on their desk. Thank you for allowing us to share with you the work that is happening here at Eastern Charter School. Before we go to our raffles, I do want to open it up to open forum. This is an opportunity for parents to ask questions, share any concerns about the life of, being a parent here at Eastern Charter School. Any questions or concerns, this is the opportunity. This is a moment, to not feel that you can't ask a question, okay? This is the time. So if anyone has a question before we go into the fun stuff over here with the raffles. Yes. We are working on that and we will share that. I can share with you all that we don't have the plan just yet. So I'm gonna be honest with you, but we are going to provide opportunities for the parents to meet and greet the teachers. Whether it's that the first day of school, or whether potentially it may be the day before where, maybe there's more of an opportunity to actually, share and talk versus day one where we're trying to get the kids in class. We're trying to get, instruction started, so we may do it maybe a day or two before, so that, it's less stress for everyone, but especially for the students as well. So yes, we do have that plan. Thank you so much, and we've heard that. And we appreciate, that, some of you are also coming to our, monthly, PTO and DLAC meetings, where we also share some more information. So with great gratitude, again, I appreciate you all. And I remind you all that I am also here in service of you. Okay, I am here to service you as the community that we are working for. I also want to share something with you all. This job is not easy, but I do enjoy it. And at the end of the day, I love the students. I'm getting to know them so much more. They know me, they trust me. I believe they do. I work at a different level than the principals do. They build relationships as well, but my job is to motivate the children, okay? Share with your children that if they ever need anything, they see me around, they can come to me, okay? Whether they made a mistake or not, I'm not going to, go after them or they have them think that they're gonna get in trouble. I want to help them resolve a problem. Now, I'll be honest with you, if they made a mistake, I will say to them, I'm gonna help you with this, but you're gonna have to probably speak to the principal and they're gonna help you a little further, but I will prepare you for that. Okay, because I don't want them to be afraid of this. Okay, so thank you. We're gonna go right now with our raffle, so please have your tickets out. I'm gonna start with the last three numbers, and we have here 5 raffle prizes. The first winner is gonna be 373, 373, right here, Jennifer. Yes. All right, thank you. Our next number is not that, I don't think, no, it's 382. 382, 382, 382. I don't think anyone's left yet. 382, there it is. Winner, winner, winner. All right, next winner, 390, 390, right here, Ms. Brown. The grand prize. Got it for you. Next winner, 394, 394, 394. Right there, we have a winner. And our last prize winner for today is 389, 389, right here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate you all. I wish you all a wonderful, Wednesday today. Thank you, and we're here to service you all. There's some food there. Please, if you haven't written a message on the blue butcher paper, please do so on your way out. Thank you so much. Have a great day.